Hello there, my very good friends, and a warm, welcoming, fuzzy, warm good afternoon to all of you. If you're wondering why we didn't talk about CM Punk on the morning news video today, it's because we're going to do it right now.
Yeah.
He was backstage at Raw. I'm going to tell you that, which I've already told you, and he's going to tell you the real reason. I'm Andy, that's Adam, that's Phil, that's Larry. This is the after
All the
news.
gang's here.
Yep, the eel, he's there too. Let's talk about CM Punk.
I can't believe this, yeah.
What a weird thing to wake up to. But yes, CM Punk was backstage at last night's Raw, which was in the vicinity of Chicago, Illinois. It was in Rosemont at the Allstate Arena.
Uh-huh.
I've been to Chicago and Rosemont and Allstate. It's a hoot and a journey.
Is it?
It's a trek, put it that way. But it's basically the same kind of area. I don't want to call it the same town because people who live there will be like, listen, it's not the same town.
If we're Chicago right now, where do we have to go to get to this place?
Like Anik or somewhere,
Oh.
maybe, which is,
That is a trek.
it's got a bookshop. So he was there, Phil Brooks, he was in the building until Vince McMahon made the call to kind of get him out of there. PW Insider's Mike Johnson broke the news on Monday. CM Punk was there. He met with Paul Triple H Levesque briefly, but you'll got a bit more about that.
Yeah.
In what would have been their first in-person get-together since Punk left WWE in 2014. Punk also met several other WWE personnel while he was there before he was asked to leave. Vince made the call about him being asked to leave because he's under AEW contract. He works for another company. And when this happened,
at least.
And when this happened, Punk said his goodbyes and buggered off, basically. So there is some footage actually of him in the car park. He's wearing a red cap. He's got a hoodie on that I identified as a Henry Rollins hoodie because I own the t-shirt version of that.
Wow, good spot.
So it's probably Punk because he likes punk music, and there you go.
Yeah.
And there was a guy shouting at him going, hey, I see you there. CM Punk trying to hide in your red cap.
It must be not just Punk, but it must be a nightmare going anywhere if you're famous.
Yeah.
Hey, I see you there. Just want to go and get a coffee, mate.
Brother, I'm just trying to buy an orange.
Yeah.
You need to leave me alone. I want some eggs.
I'm shame buying a packet of Skittles Chewies on a Sunday evening. Please leave me alone.
Yeah, there you go. So Punk was at Raw, and then he wasn't at Raw.
And interestingly, we are just days away from the WWE draft, and you said he was wearing a red cap, so who knows what that could mean. But like you say, he's contracted to AEW, so probably nothing.
Literally nothing.
And according to a report from Fightful Select, no crap, just Sap, Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select, WWE wrestlers think it was just a big publicity stunt ahead of his AEW return, which of course is set to go down, allegedly, when they bring in the new AEW Collision, which goes down on June 17th.
It goes down on a day in
Mid-June, I'm going to say. But yeah, he was, the people believe that the main reason for that was fancy. I wonder what that was for a second.
It's the snake.
Was a big old publicity stunt. Although it could also have been that he wanted to have a chat with some of the people backstage. Like you say, he was seen meeting with Triple H. He was also seen conversing with Big Bazza, Baron Corbin, lovely bloke.
Barry Corbin.
Bob Lashley, Tamina, and The Miz. What a guy.
Squashing beef.
Paul Levesque was apparently surprised by Punk's presence, but shook hands with him. When Punk asked if he could stick around, Triple H said he'd have to ask his daddy if this. He didn't say that exactly, but he had to ask if it would be okay. But like you say, Vince said, "Can't be a pal." And he wouldn't say it like that because that was his voice about 15 years ago.
Yeah.
So, and they go, huh?
Bit crustier now.
Sorry, what's more, Vince? But apparently it was all good. Like, it was, you can't actually be here. And he goes, no problem. Left without incident. A number of AEW talents, Andy, were said to be in disbelief when they heard Punk was backstage at Raw. Unsurprisingly, some of the WWE wrestlers. That would be weird if you're a WWE wrestler. Bad enough you're an AEW wrestler, like hearing about this, or if you just showed up backstage at an episode of Dynamite. But at least, like you say, he's contracted. If you're just knocking about, if you're Chad Gable and you just go, oh, I'm just going to go and get a slice of protein. I wouldn't want to say pizza because he looked an absolute piece.
Slice of protein.
He wouldn't be eating pizza, so
unless it's a protein pizza.
Right. Ooh.
With a cauliflower base.
Why? Don't don't mess. Just if I'm having pizza, right, I'm miserable. Okay, so just let me have that. Don't try and make it all fancy. Anyway, you walk out your door and then just, and then there's Larry comes past as well. I assume Larry was with him. No,
Pitter patter of tiny Larry.
that's actually really bad reporting, isn't it? We don't know if Larry confirm or deny whether Larry was there or not.
We do know that he squashed beef with the Miz.
Larry's not contracted to AEW.
Yeah.
He could be in the draft.
There you go. What was the phrasing of that Miz thing?
Sorry, I've not talked about the Miz part.
Cleared the air.
Yeah, PW Insider's Mike Johnson has reported that Miz and Punk had clear the air talks. They've obviously had their issues in the past, but they took some meat and they put it in the ground. They buried the beef.
Literally took a steak, put it in a coffin, and then sent it off. Larry ate the steak before they had a phone almost.
Like Tito Ortiz this now. I've buried the beef.
Tito Ortiz.
That's going to grow a beef tree right there.
The greatest TNA star of all time. Yeah. Burger. That's what
got a big watch on.
That's where Big Billy Birdseye gets his beef, isn't it? From the burger. What are we doing? This is.
Remember when they put horses in burgers for a bit? That was weird, wasn't it? Is that an American thing as well? Is that just here?
I think it's an Alistair Overeem thing. That's what he said when people were like, "How'd you get so big, Alistair?" He was like, "I eat horse meat," or something like that, wasn't it?
And they said you can't do that, and he said, "Way."
Yeah, he was, you know.
Anyway, Punk. This is mad, isn't it?
Speaking of UFC stars,
very nice.
CM Punk.
Pull us back on track.
Yeah, what on earth is going on? What occurred here? I think that for me, right, the most fun version of this, the most chaotic version of this, is that CM Punk went rogue. And he didn't ask Tony or whatever. He just did this. And he went like, sod it, I'm going to be weird. And I'm going to piss everyone off. That would be the most fun to follow. Obviously bad for everyone, really. But fun to follow version.
Yeah, because what's the rules currently? Because obviously the whole Ricky Starks thing.
Yeah, he was there.
Are they not allowed? Are they just encouraged not to be at least seen going backstage on a rival show?
It's probably a permission thing because there's been like lots of stories about like Dolph Ziggler being backstage at AEW show because his brother works there and stuff like that. So like, there's been stuff like that before. You'd imagine that if I don't know, name a wrestler, Brandon Cutler goes, "Hey, Tony, I would quite like to go to Raw because my mate Frankie is going to be there and I haven't seen Frankie in a while. Can I go?" Yeah, no worries. Maybe it's situational, I don't know. Maybe CM Punk went rogue.
No way he asked for permission.
Yeah,
But I also like the fact that I read this and it says WWE wrestlers believe CM Punk's attendance was a publicity stunt ahead of his AEW return. Yeah, because CM Punk really needs to get his name back out there in the conversation. Everyone's you say like CM Punk and they're like, "Oh, remind me about him again. What's he up to?" And you're like, "Do you remember he had a pipe bomb?" And it was like, no, has he been up to much recently? Not really.
Nah, he's been quiet.
Preposterous that he would need to do this. I think like you say, I think he's just an agent of chaos.
Yeah.
I think AJ's like, "Here you go, Phil. Just popping out."
Yeah.
Larry, come with me.
Go on. It's just a deeply strange thing.
When they're in the car, right? Do you think Larry sits? Phil's driving. I assume Larry doesn't drive, but who knows? Phil's driving. Is Larry? Is this sort of like a taxi situation? Is Larry in that seat, or is he in the back seat because he's getting driven by Phil?
Good question.
I think maybe front seat, because I think if I was getting a lift from a mate, I wouldn't be like getting in the back and going, "Drive on, driver."
Do you reckon Larry is the kind of dog who likes sticking his head out the window? Looking at the people? Or do you think Larry's a bit more subdued?
I genuinely think that's one of the happiest things. The thing that makes me the most happy is when I see a dog just having the best time sticking his head out the window.
Yeah, just watching the world go by. That could be Larry, man.
If I tell you what, you want a Twitter question asked, you get a dog with its head sticking out the window, and I will guarantee to answer.
If you send it at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was about to say, if you ask it at the right time every morning.
If you send it at the same time as John Harrison, Jake,
Eddie Damari,
Eddie, Eric Vasquez.
By the way, if you're wondering where today's Twitter questions are, they're on the morning news. Go and check that out.
Yeah.
Let us know your thoughts on the. Have we talked enough time yet?
Yeah, we'll be back with more Larry news later today, I'm sure.
Let us know your thoughts on the CM Punk situation, on him being backstage at Raw and his impending return to AEW. I'm sure it'll be a nice, civilised conversation.
Let's play a game.
In the comment section.
How many comments do you think it'll be before someone uses the word unprofessional? I reckon I'm going to give it 3.
Yeah.
3 comments. What are you going for? Loser has to buy a dog. I don't know.
Get off his dog.
Yeah, why not? What are you going for?
10.
10? Oh, wow.
Because you got to go think like first 3, bang, bang, bang.
Yeah.
At the beginning of the video, losers going first.
Yeah.
And then it'll say like,
point. Although-
Andy's bald, or
Yeah.
Wilborn's a specky ginger twat,
Yeah.
or things like that. You got to get all the usuals out of the
Larry.
way. I think they're actually scheduled by Phil on our work account. So once they've gone out of the way, then someone will say, this is unprofessional.
It's a, yeah.
Are they talking about us or Phil, by the way?
Everyone.
Not
I
that
think.
Phil, that Phil.
Larry, actually. Like, why was he even there?
Larry's never
Larry,
been
come on.
unprofessional in his life.
No, remember that time he ran the ring?
Stole the show from...
Dave,
anything important to talk about? Probably need to do a running commentary of Larry first.
Yeah, 2 minutes on Larry, baby.
Love you, Dave. Right.
Anyway.
Thoughts on everything, as I say in the comments. Twitter stuff at WhatCulture WWE. Follow Andy Murray at
Andy H. Murray. The H stands for Hoop 63. 51st Hoops.
Oh, we're sneaking. I forgot there's double.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like a double game week in fantasy football.
This hoop geniality.
You can follow me on Twitter at Adam Wilborn. Follow us all at WhatCulture WWE. Check out the news video from earlier on today, and check out WhatCulture Wrestling wherever you get your podcast from for daily wrestling podcasts. But for
Fat Man Hoop. Not a film.
great artist though.
Hoop
Be
dog.
Faithful's an absolute banger.
Hoope fiasco.
Very good.
No, it's not good.
He's been Andy. He's been Larry. He's been Phil. I've been Adam. You've been you. And we'll see you soon.